Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Tony with RCHelp.com. Today, the transmission. Now, I'm going to break this up into two parts. The first part is going to be disassembly and cleaning. The second part is going to be reassembly and setup. Basically meaning getting some basic settings on the slipper clutch. As you can see here, this slipper clutch is locked down as tight as it can possibly go. You don't want to do that. And then the brake. Whenever we took this apart, I looked at the brake. I said it did look good, but if I hold it up here for you guys can see there is just a ton of space right here on these pads. And if I go ahead and hold it and then actuate the brake, you can see just how far I'm having to push that rod up there to engage the brake pad. Now, some people are going to look at this brake disc and say it's no longer any good. And yeah, I mean, if you got the money to replace it, go ahead and replace it. But as far as the face and everything, the face looks fine. You know, we can do a quick sanding on this and it'll be as good as new. So guys, in this video, like I said, we're going to be taking this one apart and we're also going to be cleaning it. I have just a towel here. It's got kind of coarse fibers on it, and all I'm going to do, I'm going to use simple green. I want to use an air compressor on this so bad, but I told you guys that I would do it without an air compressor because I know not everybody has one. And simple green and a towel. That's how we're going to clean this. Alright, so first things first, let's go ahead and get this brake off. There's one. We're just going to, I guess I could set that up here where you guys can still see it. Now this one here, we are going to leave the pads intact on it. So take a look at those pads here right quick. Those actually don't look too awful bad. Yeah, they're not real rough. So look at this other side, you can see where the button was pushing. If we look at the other side of this one, if I can get it off, you can see that the brake pad has never rode on this side. So we're going to scuff this side up and flip it just like we did on the other T-Maxx. So just like before, we're going to put both of our bolts through here. That way we know exactly where they go. Now we can take off the brake disc. We'll set that right there. And let's go ahead and get these axles off. CV joints, output drives, whatever you want to call them. Because there is only two of these pins, this one's going to be longer because it's got to go through this little collar. I know exactly where they go. And I'll set this one beside that one, and you can see just how much longer it is. Alright, go ahead and pull that off. We are going to clean all of this, so I want to pull this piece off. Go ahead and inspect this. A lot of times this will have a groove right through here, right where that brake disc rides. This one has surprisingly very little wear compared to how much wear this brake disc has. So that's surprising. A good surprise, but that's surprising. Alright, next we're going to go ahead and get this slipper clutch off. I couldn't find the actual driver to take this off properly, so I'll just use pliers. So on this, you have a nut, you have a spring. Sometimes it can be a pain in the butt. You've got that piece, you've got the ring, the spur. This piece right here come out of the brake, which is right here, so we'll go ahead and set this up there. And we can go ahead and pull this piece out since we're already here. Come on back. We've got another one of them rings. We've got the bearing that actually goes inside here. And if I can get this piece off, come on, buddy. There we go. We've got that piece there. So if you look at these two pieces, they are exactly the same. It doesn't matter which one goes on front or which one goes on back. The same thing with these. What you want to do is you want to inspect these. So we'll get up here nice and close. Kind of give it a wipe. Look at it. I see very little use on that. Go ahead and give this one a wipe. Take a look at it. Again, very little use. And the reason this has very little use, because those two pieces right there were just torqued down as hard as they could possibly get them torqued down. We'll check this other side right quick. Never even been touched. So we will be going through a slipper setup video on this, hopefully. I've had some things kind of poke their head up as a little surprise. And yeah, I'm having to do some thinking on this truck. Alright, I am going to go ahead and take this ball out of here. And the only reason I'm doing that is so I can get the shaft through here without ripping this rubber. So just pull the shaft out and just unscrew it. Sometimes they like to be really, really tight. This does have a little lock washer on it, so be sure not to lose that. We'll set that right there. And let's take a closer visual inspection. Can anybody see what is wrong with this picture? One of these things is not like the other. Somebody put a drywall screw, wood screw, whatever you want to call it, into the case. That does not belong there, but hey, I mean, if it holds, I guess it works. Because 15 cents is just way too much to pay to get a new screw. Now, let's compare that one to one of them that is actually supposed to be in here. Much, much longer. The pitch isn't as far off as I thought it was going to be. That's actually just standard wood screw, not a sheetrock screw. So we're just going to set all of our screws up here. Take every single one of them out. Alright, take these final two screws out of here. And we'll go ahead and split this case apart. Let's see which side's wanting to go which way. Okay, it's all wanting to go this way. So that is fine with me. And there we go. We'll set that right there. Let's go ahead and take out the input shaft. Let's go ahead and pull all this stuff out. That one just barely squeezes by that fork right there. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to push on this rod. That's going to push that fork up, and we're going to pull every bit of this out. The only thing in there is going to be an idler. There is a nut on the back so it will not fall out. Just make sure that it spins nice and free and doesn't sound dry. I'm going to take that bearing, put it back on there. Take the fork, put it on here. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the inside of our transmission. You can see this is going to be grease. I don't really have a clean finger, but as you can see, if I just smush it down, it just kind of goes away. So the inside of this case is fine. That bearing we're going to want to check and oil. We'll do that in the reassembly video. This one here, just took the bearing off of the input shaft. Want to take a look at this. I don't see any chipping of this gear or anything. This is the first gear inside the transmission, so it does get abused pretty good. But I don't see anything wrong with that. This is all one piece, by the way, so there's no reason to really take this apart other than to clean it. Before we dive into this gear or this gear, you want to get you one of these, because if this thing comes apart and you don't know where stuff goes, you're going to want to know where all this stuff goes. Every bit of this right here is going to be this piece here. Every bit of this right here is going to be this piece here. So I want to take a look at this bearing, find out which bearing that is. This is going to be a 5x11. I'm just going to take it off. Take it off and set it over here to the side. Get our Allen driver. Get our other Allen driver. Get it in there. We're going to take out this little grub screw, set screw, grub screw shaft thing. Same thing that holds the axles onto the transmission. This little pin. We're going to set that off to the side, hopefully where you guys can see it. Alright, now that we got that grub screw out, we can go ahead and pull this piece off. Make sure that this little washer is not coming with you. This is going to be your primary gear, basically forward and reverse. Alright, next, go ahead and get that little washer off of here. Sometimes easier said than done. So now we're just going to take this shaft, push it out. There's going to be another little spacer washer in here. Spacer washer. We're going to set this right there. This is going to have a pretty large bearing. Make sure it's nice and free. So in the manual, they'll show you how to adjust your 2-speed on when it's going to shift. This little grub screw right there is what you use to adjust it. And what it does is it pushes down here onto this dog, and once this thing gets spinning fast enough, this piece is going to sling out. It's going to sling out. Sometimes this stuff just doesn't work. this is going to engage your second gear. Now, where does that engage? Well, let's take a look. We have all of this stuffed inside here. Notice this piece is always spinning free until that dog slings out, then that's going to engage. Once this one engages, because of the way this sits in here, this bottom gear basically starts to freewheel. So if we look back here, you'll see that there's a one-way bearing. I can spin this shaft counterclockwise, but I cannot spin it clockwise. And what happens, because this is spinning free, you know, it doesn't matter. There's no one way, it's just a bearing. You have this, your input gear, you got your spur gear that goes onto here, that's attached here. It's going to start with this smaller gear attached to this gear. Once this piece gets spinning fast enough, that dog's going to sling out, it's going to engage this top gear. Now this bottom gear no longer has a job, so it's just going to sit there and basically free spin on the shaft as this one engages, giving you high gear. Pretty cool, huh? Alright, so we'll go ahead and take that out. Remember, there are 3 pieces on this. We do have a shim, we have a bearing, and then we have this set up. Get my pokey bit out the way. Inside here, as you can see, there's really not a lot going on. One thing I do notice, it does have a little bit of play in there. It has definitely worn this gear, at least it looks like it has. I don't have my snap ring pliers in here, but I don't think there's any reason to take this off. That one way felt really good. We'll just clean this off, make sure it's in good working order, and that's really all you have to do. You don't have to take that piece out if you're just maintaining your transmission. Alright, we'll take a look at this one. This right here is going to be your second gear. That's the hole that you spin in order to see that big grub screw right there to adjust when that dog comes out. You can see the pin or the little ball right there. Alright, so we'll take a look at the second gear. As you can see, you got a pin there. Spin it around, there's a pin there, and then there's going to be a pin there. That's what the dog inside here, that little black slit that I pulled out, that's what it's going to grab onto to give you second gear. So what I'm wanting to do is I'm just wanting to look down inside there and see if there's anything wrong. Those pins do come all the way through too, by the way. So that gear right there looks really good. Alright, so let's go ahead and pull this grub screw out. Again, this is going to adjust when your transmission shifts. So now that I pulled that out, I'm going to have to reset the shift points on this truck. We should, I'm going to try to use this gear to kind of catch it. Right there is your spring and your ball. That is all they're using to adjust when you shift. Alright, I'm going to grab a red rag because this is grease and not dirt. I'm only going to use this for dirt because my wife likes these towels and I kind of like to live. And we're just going to kind of wipe this off and make her pretty again. Now one thing I'm noticing is just by the weight of the dog itself, it's wanting to come out. So that is an absolutely fantastic sign. That means I don't have to do nothing to this thing. Looking down inside this bore, I am not seeing any kind of nasty stuff or anything like that, which is absolutely fantastic news with what I found with the rest of the truck. That makes me happy right there. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take that ball, take the spring, we're going to pop that back in, then we're going to take that grub screw and we're going to put it in there, making sure it's below this shear line right here, below the surface of this radius. Now the further out it is unscrewed, the sooner it's going to shift. The further you screw it in, the later it's going to shift. It depends on what the spring tension is as to when this dog is going to be able to just sling out. So you do want to check it and make sure that that dog is not just falling out on its own. You can also grab some kind of pokey bit and just kind of feel it and make sure it's wanting to snap back in there. I am going to be going through this. I just want to put all this together. That way we know exactly where it goes. Alright, throw our first gear on there. Make sure it's locking in. It is. Throw a little spacer on there. Now we're going to put these guys on there. I know where the grub screw goes. That's not a big deal. But hopefully that kind of tells you how this piece works. Now we still have to get into forward and reverse and how that works. And that's what we're going to do right now. Bet you guys thought I was going to say in the next video, didn't you? Alright, the one with the shiny paw is going to be your forward gear. The one with the black paw is going to be your reverse gear. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. We got a bearing, we got a sleeve. There is a bearing inside here, but we're just going to go ahead and pull. Actually, that bearing just fell out, so fantastic. There is another bearing on the back side of it. I'm just kind of looking. It also has on here blue ring, and well, blue ring. So there you go. Then we're going to have our slider. Alright, this side, we're just going to go ahead and pull all this off. There is a shim. So we have our shaft here. We have a shim. And is that, yep, that bearing's going to come out too. And then there you go. And then once again, you're going to want to just basically check everything. And I don't have my good X-Acto knife in here that I can check bearings with. That's unfortunate. So we're just going to use a screwdriver. That feels good. I guess I could actually use the shaft. That feels real good. Go ahead and check this one. That one doesn't sound too good. So we may be looking at replacing this one because it's actually spinning on the shaft right there. It's taking a lot of force to get that inner race to move. So we may be looking into that because that is your forward gear. This one is actually even tighter. Wow. Yeah. Interesting. Alright. Then we'll check this bearing. These bigger bearings feel absolutely fantastic. Those smaller ones, not so much. So we may have to look into replacing both of these small bearings. And if you guys have checked out the Google Doc down in the description, holy cow. This truck has a lot of problems. And then just for S&Gs, let's go ahead, check out this slider, collar, whatever. These pins right here are the pins that whenever the dogs sling out, that's what they're going to hit. I keep going out of frame. Take a look at the outside, everything looks good there. So once again, for the second time, we'll go ahead and just put all of this back together. That way I don't hit and knock something off. I've kind of been known to do that. Alright, just for my own verification, I went ahead and threw this back inside the transmission. This is just the forward reverse assembly. And I wanted to see which way does this need to go in order to engage forward. And the answer is all the way in. Because this is going to be your forward gear, the one with the blue marking. And yeah, all the way in engages that one. All the way out is going to engage your reverse gear, which is right here. Alright, so we have our forward reverse set. We have our 2-speed set, we have our input gear. The idler gear can go ahead and stay there, but what I want to do now is what the purpose of this one is. After disassembling it and explaining what all the parts are, let's go ahead and just set stuff out to the side, because we don't need to clean these gears. These gears are actually clean, well, sans where I've been touching them, but that ain't going to hurt nothing. And I'm going to clean my greasy hands with my grease rag, my beautiful red rag, not the Harbor Freight crappy rags. Alright, so now it's time to clean. I do have little brushes like this. God, don't ask me what this brush is actually for. I've said that in other videos. I've got my green towel. Why green? It's the first one I grabbed. And why not? Simple green. Green. Get it? And it is quite simply clean plastic. Alright everyone, so rookie mistake here. I have these little lapel mics, and I put aftermarket batteries so I wasn't burning through AA's. And well, the batteries died, so I lost all audio. I know, backup audio, all that stuff, you know. Anyway, I've cleaned this entire truck. Basically, just like you saw, I used my green rag with the simple green, and I just cleaned everything. I did go ahead and pull out all of these bearings just so I can get in there. You can see I pulled these out. I still left this one in. This one is super smooth and there's no reason to pull it out, but I did pull this bearing out as well as these two, and as you can see, I went ahead and wiped out the inside of the case. Same on this one, kind of. There's still a little bit of dust in there, but I just went ahead and cleaned every bit of it. I took my little brush right here, I went inside where the brake arm goes, this little guy right here, and just cleaned. And yeah, I mean, it's not that bad. Obviously there's going to be some dirt down in some of the cracks that I can't get to, because I said I'd do this without an air compressor, and that's exactly what I've done. I have not put a single blast of air, not even canned air. I don't even own canned air, but I didn't use any kind of compressed air on this truck. So all you got to do, take your time, wipe it down, make sure the insides are clean, check all your bearings. These are every one of the bearings that go in the case. You know, you got 3 right here, and then you got 3 over here. 3, 3, 6, yeah. Math, who knew? And so with that, that is the disassembly and cleaning of this entire truck. I cleaned all these CV joints right here. I cleaned the little brake adapter. I even cleaned this little guy. And I mean, the inside, yeah, it's still kind of clean. It doesn't spring, and I didn't really clean down inside the grooves, but yeah, it doesn't matter. I even cleaned the spur gear. So I know this video kind of skipped over some stuff that I really wanted to show, basically cleaning all this. I mean, it was quite literally just spray it down, take the toothbrush, kind of wipe it, grab a good towel, and just wipe it off, and rinse and repeat, quite literally. So, I mean, it's not that hard. So in the next video, we are going to be putting this back together. I do hope you guys join. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, guys, click that subscribe button, get subscribed. Click the little notification icon so that you get notifications whenever these things come out. I'm trying to put them out every single Monday. If you do want to help support RC Help, all them links are down in the description. It's greatly appreciated, not required. And as always, I want to thank everyone for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.